What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm bringing you the first serious best team for the Isle of Armor Season 5 VGC 2020 rules starting on July 1st. You can use this team on casual right now and warm up, but this team will be, I guarantee, the best team that you're going to see from my channel starting July 1st. It features a bunch of stuff we've already shown in other videos. It's almost like I made those videos where I showed off parts of these cores because I planned on showing you the real one and I wanted to work into it. What this team does is it's 3 different cores of 2 mons. You have Torkoal Venusaur for the Sun. It works Sun, it works like going fast, it works going slow with the Torkoal. You have Weezing Dragapult, so good. There's so many Pokemon that are reliant on their abilities in the Isle of Armor. Shuts off all forms of weather, shuts off most gimmick teams, shuts off Zoroark, shuts off so many cool things with the Neutralizing Gas Weezing and the Weakness Policy Dragapult. Breaks sashes. It's also very good defensive typing all around the board. And last but not least, we have a little bit of Psy spam with the female Indeedee and Alakazam holding a Focus Sash. What you can actually do when playing this team is you go into the team preview. When your opponent's looking at your team, you always have to think of what vibes your team gives off. And the good thing about this team is there's not really that many leads or combinations that your opponent can put through that can beat this lead. You know, they might have something that's really good versus Torkoal and Venusaur, but it gets wasted by Indeedee Alakazam, or something that's really good versus Weezing and Dragapult, but it loses to Indeedee Alakazam or Torkoal Venusaur. Or you could actually just go like Dragapult Alakazam, Venusaur Indeedee. There's so many different things you can actually do. Being able to switch in Pokemon, like if I were to lead Torkoal Venusaur and they were to do something with like Fake Out, maybe they led like Incineroar or something, I could switch in my Indeedee to block Fake Out, go for huge Earth powers. There's so many different type of things you can do with switching and leading correctly, influencing your opponent. I think this team is absolutely amazing. I want to direct you guys to the question of the day, and that is, what 2-mon core has been your favorite so far on the Isle of Armor? Is it any of these 3, or is there something else that you guys are using in your own games and getting massive success with before the ladder starts on July 1st? Let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and while you guys are also down there, maybe watch the first couple games, and then let me know if you actually like seeing these one-on-one videos, because this is a video that's not on stream. I'm actually thinking about changing a little bit of my stream schedule so I bring a lot more content that's specifically made for YouTube to the YouTube channel to keep it interesting for the people that think the YouTube channel is just a bunch of highlights. So let me know if you're interested in content like that in the comments below. Let's hop right into the battles. Here we go. Alright, so we're going up into our very first game. We see a Zoroark team. Now, one really important thing to know about Zoroark is Zoroark does copy the last Pokemon on your party, but it doesn't copy Pokemon that have abilities. So if like he leads Ninetales or he leads a Zoroark disguised as Ninetales and it doesn't set the hail, that's a pretty good indication if there's a Zoroark on their team. Remember, you can't like go into your menu and see what type or if moves are super effective to see if it's actually Zoroark. That's a myth. That was never real. So how are we actually going to deal with this? Remember, we're using a bunch of different stuff. I think we're actually going to go with the Weezing here because Dragapult outspeeds all of those. Weezing outspeeds all of those, and Weezing will break the Zoroark. So I think Weezing Dragapult is just super good right now. I'll go with the big Choice Scarf Weezing, Weakness Policy Pult. What do I want to follow it up with, though? I think Indeedee's pretty solid. We don't know what Urshifu type that is, but there's a lot of fighting types, and I know that it's probably not the best idea to go Zam, but I think that Zam is so nice. I think the Dazzling Gleam is so nice in Alakazam. Magikarp protects it from hail damage, so I think I'm going to go Alakazam. And I think instead of bringing the Indeedee, I'm actually going to bring the Venusaur here because Venusaur is good versus Melodic and Rhyperior. So I just think this is a really good game to show off that, yeah, you're using 3 different 2-mon cores, but you don't need to bring, you know, exactly 2 cores. You know, you can bring the best of each one. I think Weezing and Dragapult go really well together, and then I think Alakazam and Venusaur are the perfect 2 Pokemon to correctly deal with our opponent's defensive typing while also outspeeding the threats that we need to outspeed. Like Rhyperior, it'd be a lot easier to deal with Rhyperior with a Venusaur than, let's say, an Indeedee. It'd be a lot easier to deal with you know, Ninetales, for example. Let's see. Is that Ninetales Zoroark? I think the Rhyperior is going to be disguised as Zoroark just because it's on the right-hand side. So let's see if Neutralizing Gas turns off. Right? Are you turning it off? It's almost like I play the game, guys. The easiest way to know if your opponent's using Zoroark is it's always going to be that right-hand slide. That's the first Pokemon they ever select. So that's a great way to know if your opponent is using Zoroark. Also note that we turned off the hail. So that means if he wants to go for a Blizzard or an Aurora Veil, there is no hail. So Weezing is busted here. You know what else is busted? Brutal Swing. It's going to be using off our Choice Scarf Weezing, outspeeding our Dragapult. It's going to activate our Weakness Policy. and we're gonna let us one-shot something. Now, what do I actually want to one-shot? I think I'm gonna go for an Airstream into the Zoroark. I don't really think I need to Dragon Darts it. I think I'd rather go for the Airstream here, just in case that is like a Scarf Ninetales. This will help us outspeed it for future turns. Then next turn I can switch out Weezing and Airstream the Ninetales and switch in my Venusaur to correctly give my Venusaur the speed to finish off anything else he has in the back. So big Airstream. We're not stabbing it. I don't think that they're going to be Dynamaxing their Zoroark. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think they're going to be Dynamaxing the Zoroark? You know, actually, it's fine. I'll go for the Wormwind on the Zoroark this turn. I think the Zoroark is the biggest threat, and this is our biggest stabbed move. We're lowering attack, but it's not that big of a deal. So Survey says I'm Dynamaxing first, so that means he's not holding that big Choice Scarf for any of those mons. I'm assuming there's a Sash on the Zoroark, right? I'm assuming there's a Sash on the Zoroark or the Ninetales. That's why Brutal Swing is such a good policy procer / sash breaker. That's the really good thing about it. It's not the same as like a Shadow Sneak play because you're able to break both of your opponent's sashes on the first turn. It's so important. I really wish I went for the Airstream here, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Remember, that Ninetales is going to have to go for like a raw Blizzard into my Dragapult to do anything done here. And none of those Pokemon get like Ally Switch, so we're in a really, really good spot. Yo, we crit the Zoroark, Lamau, and the big Max Wormwind, it's not really that important for lowering our opponent's Ninetales attack, but it is going to be able to one-shot the Zoroark. I did not want to eat like a Max Darkness. Super effective. It could have been Life Orbed. And if you Dynamax that would have been a major problem for me. So Zoroark does go down. Let's see what you got, Chief. Sheer Cold into my Weezing. Holy poggers. Sheer Cold. Sheer Cold. It's actually kind of good for me that that went off. I'm going to talk about it why. Gas wears off. I think it's probably a better idea to bring in the Zam, because if we look at like what they have in the back, right? If they're going to have the Rhyperior, I can like dive that. If they bring out Urshifu, if it's the Dark Urshifu, I just go for the Dazzling Gloom. We're good to go. I think Alakazam's a little bit safer to bring out, but we'll see. Hey, that was a, and if it's Beware, obviously you see the Beware right here. Alakazam can hit the big Psychics there, or I can go with the Dragapult and go for like a big Airstream. Let's actually see. He's probably going to be Dynamaxing the thing. If you look at the Beware's type, it's a normal fighting, which means I think we're going to go for the big Psychic attacks here. Let's actually see. Like, Expanding Force, I know I don't have the terrain, but it is still like a single target move, 80 base power. I think I can actually get away with just Expanding Forcing the Beware. It'll be pretty decent damage. I think I actually just want to nuke that slot. And go for, I think Airstream's probably just a little bit better than a Wormwind, right? I mean, I could Wormwind the... I can't Wormwind that Ninetales. Yeah, that's bad. I think I'm going to try and just nuke the Beware because I'm not afraid of the Ninetales, especially if I get like an Airstream boost on something. And if he does go for a Sheer Cold on my Alakazam, I am holding that big Focus Sash. Show me your Dynamax Beware. I'm going with the most damage I have possible into that thing. And I do think it's the right idea to go for the speed boost here. It's not like those guys can apply a lot of speed. I guess our opponent's Ninetales could go for Icy Wind, but now my Dragapult has Clear Body, so I'm in a great spot. The only way I think we get like punished here is if he goes for like a Max Guard on the Beware. And I don't think he will. I really don't think he will. But I do think it was the right idea to go Zam in this exact situation. So Expanding Force, look at that big damage. Who needs the boost? You just have the big damage. Beware's special defense is abysmal compared to its defense slot. And we are going to be able to take it out. That is amazing targeting from me. That's a +1, the best player you've ever seen in your life. And let's see what the Ninetales goes for. Are you going to go for Icy Winds, Sheer Colds? I really have no idea what he's going to be busting out here. But remember, you can't Sheer Cold a Dynamax Mon. And if you were to Sheer Cold my Alakazam, I have that big Focus Sash. So we're going for a Raw Blizzard. He double hits the Blizzard. Does he get any freezes? Survey says he doesn't. But he did double hit the Blizzard outside of Hail. So you know what? We got to give him a round of applause. Round of applause. Blizzard busted. There's the Rhyperior. Now let's see. How do I actually want to deal with this? I am going to be going for a dive. I think the right play is still actually to just nuke the Rhyperior slot. Remember, Expanding Force is not the strongest move in the world, but I think when paired with a Max Geyser, we are going to be able to pick up the KO on this Rhyperior. I'm expecting the Expanding Force to probably do about... Let's see. Let's see if I got my calcs right, because we're assuming he's going to Dynamax it, right? Let's see. How much do I expect it to do? Probably... Oh, he's not Dynamaxing. All right, well, then this is going to do over half. Yeah. Okay. No, a little less than half. So it looks like he's full HP with probably Specialty Investment, which means I'm actually happy that I went for this. And I love having Dive for Max Water on Rhyperior. I absolutely love it. I love it. It's so strong. Right? Especially being able to reset weathers, like mid-game, to a weather that takes away sun from our opponents, which can be really strong, or sand, preferably. It's actually a really good matchup when you have Weezing Dragapult against sand. you're able to turn off this sand stream and the sand rush, and then you break the Excadrill sash, and you just one-shot it with a max dive. And even if he decides to Dynamax this turn, I think I'm in a good enough spot. So let's go. Let's see. I kind of want to just use dive because that'd be hilarious. But we're going to pop a Phantom Force. We're going to be able to finish the guy off. He's probably going to Dynamax or Scoop. Doesn't really matter to me. Or nothing. Yo, I'll take none of the above for 200. For 200 big ones. And let's see if he's going for another big Blizzard. Survey says, I bet he's going to try and Sure Cold my Dragapult just because he wants to. Just because he wants to. Ice Beam, I ain't never even heard of it. Yo, I do respect the Ice Beam and Blizzard on the Ninetales. Just because, you know, sometimes you don't have Hail, right? We've all been there. I think Freeze Dry would be a little bit better. But you know what? You can't say that I didn't play this game to the best of my abilities. I brought the right Pokemon for the right situations, and I brought the right ones out at the right time. I led with Weezing Dragapult to punish the potential Zoroark, saw the Zoroark, respected the Zoroark, dealt with the Zoroark. We got Sheer Colded, right? And then I brought out the Alakazam, which put pressure on a potential Bewear, which put pressure on a potential Urshifu. It doesn't really matter what type of Urshifu it was, whether it be the Dark Fighting Urshifu, where he would have took 4 times super effective damage from the Dazzling Gleam, or it would have been Bewear taking damage from the Dazzling Gleam or the Expanding Force we decided to go to. And we were able to correctly bring out the Alakazam safely because we already analyzed where the Zoroark was. I didn't have to fear going for like a Psychic attack on a potential Fighting type Bewear because we already dealt with the Zoroark. And from there, it was just smooth sailing. I really like the use of Dive to get Max Geyser on Dragapult. And after that, you know, we just take the wins. Pretty solid team, but we're going to go into another one. Here we go. Alright, so we're going up against Rain. We have Kingdra, Politoed, Scizor, regular Porygon. I don't know what that's about. Like, you should be using that Porygon too, my guy. Urshifu form, which we don't really know what it is yet, and Marowak. So against Rain, Rain is another one of those teams, just like the last team that we fought, that's heavily reliant on abilities. The Urshifu isn't really that reliant, but the Kingdra is reliant on the Swift Swim ability in the Rain. The Politoed is reliant on the Rain. Scizor is reliant on the Rain, uses its Technician. So I do think that Weezing Dragapult can be really good here. I lead Weezing Dragapult, I Dynamax, I one-shot the Kingdra, unless it's holding a Habomberry, which is the THATSAplusONE special. We'll see how that goes. So I think Weezing Dragapult's really good, and I also think that like Torkoal Venusaur is really, really good. The only situation I want to explain where you would bring into the Alakazam here is if one of those monsters like a big fake out mon, and just so you could preserve your Alakazam from being fake outed. If there's a lot of priority other than the Bullet Punch, I think we would respect that ability a little bit more. But since the only potential priority moves are the Bullet Punch from the Scizor and the potential Aqua Jet from the Urshifu, I'm not really scared of those, so I'm not forced to bring the Indeedee, right? And if you lead Indeedee Alakazam, maybe that works, but it's such a bad matchup for Scizor versus Torkoal Venusaur, especially with the Weather Ball, has a great matchup for Scizor. So like I said, analyzing the team preview and bringing the correct mons is super important, and I want to say, it's always a really good idea to not get stressed out by the team preview timer. A lot of people are like, I gotta get my team made so fast, the timer's clocking down, I only have 5 seconds. You have plenty of time to pick your team, and you know, I would say if you want to work on like actually trying to improve how quick you can think in that like late game situation where you're like, I don't know what I should pick, go into casual battles and just like don't even look at their team, don't even look at your team or anything for the first 30 seconds of the team preview, and then force yourself to only have 30 seconds to think. I think that's a really, really good idea. So Neutralizing Gas, I wonder what the Porygon can actually do here. I really do wonder what it can do. I could go for a Corrosive Gas to turn off its item. This is one of the new things here, and that would be able to turn off his Eviolite. I don't really want to turn off, I guess. Let's see, like it targets everyone except for my Weezing Lamau. Let's see if that's actually a good idea, because like it would be turning off my Dragapult's weakness policy, versus I think I can just get the policy proc and one-shot a Porygon. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're actually just going for the Brutal Swing, and I think +2 Wormwind is going to be enough to KO a Porygon before he can TR me. Worst case scenario, I think I actually get Thunder Waved. But Scizor will then be getting a Max Wormwind attack drop, so I'm not really that afraid of it. Also, he will take like 10 HP, right, from the, from the Brutal Swing. And with those Eviolite users, the fact that they're so good is because they have the big defense and special D boost from the Eviolite, which multiplies the effect of a not fully evolved Pokemon by 1.5. But their HPs are so low. So any damage you can actually get to stick on them is going to be super important. He goes for the big BP, baby. Remember, his Technician is turned off. Otherwise, that would have done a lot more damage, leaves in my Weezing at a pretty nice number. But the Brutal Swing comes in. That's good damage for the Porygon. I'm not going to lie. That is significant damage. I would love to be able to finish this guy off I would absolutely love it. So Wormwind popping off right now. And that's why you're supposed to use Porygon 2. If you would have went for the Porygon 2, I would have played that completely differently. But I would have played the team preview differently. I would have played the team preview completely differently if it was a Porygon 2. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. I think we're in a pretty decent spot. Porygon's down, and one really good thing about this is, yeah, he can go for another Bullet Punch. He might not be able to KO, but the really good thing about this is, if you were to have like Politoed Kingdra, he'd have to bring the Kingdra out right there with the feint of switching out the Scizor for like a Politoed to then get the speed boost. But remember, you can't do that with my Weezing. I actually think Weezing's going to be able to live this if I wanted to. If I wanted to, Weezing could actually live this again because we have the Intimidate drop thanks to our Max Wormwind. I'm just going to switch out though so I can reset it so I can Strange Steam a Kingdra later. I think I'm going to switch in. I kind of want to switch in my Torkoal because since we saw that these are his last two, you see, these two means he can't have a combination of Politoed and Kingdra, right? You always have to analyze what your opponent can do with the resources that they have. And since he has Marowak Scizor, we can kind of assume that the last mon's probably going to be Urshifu in this exact situation. And I would assume the Urshifu to be the water one. So I'm going to set the sun. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, that's Phantasm time. Let's go. Super effective. Battle's canceled. I'll just take the win. And you know what? I'm able to get that win because I correctly analyzed the situation. Putting your opponent in a situation where they can't do the things that they want to do with the exact resources that they have, and knowing what those resources are while correctly managing your own, that's how you play VGC, my boys and friends, girls, everyone. That's how you play VGC, everybody. So we're going to go into one more game because that one was super quick. Alright, so we got another Zoroark game. So you guys remember how we dealt with Zoroark in the first game of the day? That guy's actually rocking a very similar team to me. You have a little bit of Sun. He has a couple really good, like, 2-mon cores. I also think that, like, I have to respect the Ninetales Venusaur, and I also really have to respect that Cinderace. And I think one really good check to Cinderace, for you guys that are wondering, how do I beat Cinderace? Weezing is a great check. You can also bring in Weezing after he's changed to a type that isn't really optimal. So like if you want to keep him as that fighting type, and then bring in your Alakazam, outspeed, and hit it with a Psychic or an Expanding Force, that's super nice. So I do think that Weezing, Dragapult are going to be super pivotal here. I do also think that the Alakazam is still really nice. There's not really, again, that much like reason why I need Indeedee. One reason I guess why you could go Indeedee here is because you can just, if he, like let's say I go all in on my Dragapult and pick up a KO on the first turn, which is probably going to happen, I can bring in the Indeedee turn 2, and then from there just spam follow me and start one-shotting all his mons. That might be able to happen, and that's something you can actually do when using this team in a best of 3. But I do think the same core that we brought last time of Weezing Dragapult with Alakazam to potentially deal with a little bit of threats, a little bit of AoE, and then Venusaur, especially the Venusaur here because of the fact that they might be setting Sun for us, right? They might be setting Sun for us with their Ninetales. And that might be pretty good. You know, we'll be able to outspeed that Ninetales. Remember, we're using a vested Venusaur, so we're pretty thick. We got those Sludge Bombs for Togekises. We have Giga Drains for the Urshifus. We have a pretty good match versus both Urshifu forms, I would say. You know, we can go for Earth Powers versus the Ninetales. I think that Venusaur is going to be pretty good. Now, again, if your opponent's going to be using Zoroark, right, and they're a newer player using Zoroark, Zoroark is going to be the Venusaur slot in this situation. And that's a core that I've done multiple times. You look like a Weather Setter and a Pokemon that can benefit from it. And we're going to see if it's a Zoroark right now. Now, what is it? The Weezing would turn off the Sun too as well. So let's see. Yo, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. So actually, I think in this situation, what you actually do want to do is go for one Airstream boost. Just because I feel it's a good way to do it. We're going to go for the Brutal Swing. And I think it's a better idea to go for an Airstream into a Venusaur than it is to go for like an all-in on the Ninetales. Ninetales, worst case scenario, goes for like a Hypnosis into my Dragapult. That would be lame, but I don't think there's that much he can do. He obviously can go Protect Bait or switch out, but I do think we're in a great spot. So I just want to reconfirm my moves. I want to reconfirm that I am using Brutal Swing, and that would break Sash, which is the most common item on Venusaur. But we'll see. I think Vested Venusaur is going to be really, really good, and this would do a lot against a Vested Venusaur as well. So Dragapult about to be going all in here. He's withdrawing Venusaur. That is a very smart play. But let's see what they're switching into. Togekiss. Togekiss is actually going to take a lot of damage here. It might actually put it within range for a second Brutal Swing. So like 2 Brutal Swings might be enough to actually take this guy out. But we'll see. We'll see what the Ninetales is going for. And now that we've seen 3 of their Mons, we can work on what I was talking about at the end of last game. What can their last Mon be if these are their 3, right? Remember, they have a Zoroark. It's not going to be Zoroark probably, unless this is the Zoroark, right? I think it's actually going to be the Urshifu, but I have to take a look at their team preview again. So let's see. Brutal Swing, survey says. I mean, yeah, it can't be Zoroark Togekiss. There's a freaking, there's a Weezing on the board, Lamau. So anyways, we get our Weakness Policy proc. I think they were switching it in there to block potential Wormwind, and, you know, that's not that bad. We did go for the Airstream, though, so we are going to be able to outspeed some stuff. Big damage, and like I said, almost within range, if not within range for another Brutal Swing. I think it's actually, I'm probably actually going to Max Guard next turn and go for a Brutal Swing, and then Brutal Swing again. Oh, just kidding. He has that berry. So is it a Pinch Berry or Citrus? Okay. Wiki Berry, so Pinch Berry. And a Hyper Beam Ninetales. Yo, sometimes Hyper Beam. Sometimes you get Hyper Beam. What are you going to say? Yo, sometimes Hyper Beam, it's actually a really, really good move because of that, right? Because that. And you know what? This is going to activate his Sun, right? It's going to wear off the neutralizing gas. I actually need to use a Max Geyser next turn, I think. I think I actually should be using a Max Geyser next turn. Who do I want to actually benefit from? Like, I kind of want to send the I kind of want to go like this. I outspeed my own Dragapult if I send this out, but I think he's going to follow me. See, there's a couple different ways I could do it, right? I could send this thing out and just Sludge Bomb the Togekiss, right? And then go for a Geyser into the... I think I'm going to try that. Because I really don't care that much about his Venusaur. Especially because I have a Sash Alakazam. And I actually don't want to show my Alakazam. I don't want to go for like a fadeaway Extreme Speed. I don't want him to break my Sash. We're going to be able to go for a Sludge Bomb here. And I just want to make sure that my Venusaur is fast enough to do this. It means it needs a 108 base speed just to make sure that it's faster. And we are 108. Perfect. So that would double in the chlorophyll. So it's faster than any Dragapult can actually be. So we're going to go for that in case he goes for the redirection. And we're also going to be popping a Max Geyser. I think Airstream could... Actually, Airstream's a little bit better. Because it makes it so we keep the Sun, so our Venusaur gets even faster than his Venusaur. So Airstream's actually smarter here. And remember, his Ninetales is recharging, so it's not like we actually need to get any KOs. So he's going to withdraw Togekiss. We're going to get to see the Venusaur again. He's going to block a Sludge Bomb here. This guy's actually had some pretty decent switches. If you saw the first two games, I actually just rolled our opponent the first two times. The fact that he's still kind of hanging on, getting a KO with that Hyper Beam, it's actually really, really nice. So Ninetales is going to go down. This Airstream is going to make it so my Venusaur right now outspeeds his. Remember, we do have that big Weather Ball. One really good thing about our opponent's defensive switching here is that I only have one turn left of my Dynamax versus they haven't even started there. So if they potentially like Max Guard, like block me next turn, that's a crit. I'll take the crits all the way to the bank. That shows me that he probably wasn't a vested set because that would have actually just, you know, done a lot less even with a crit. But anyways, yeah, like he can totally Dynamax here. Now let's see. He's still not showing that last Mon. I think I'm just going to go for the Sludge Bomb and the Togekiss. And I think I'm going to Airstream the Venusaur. And the reason we're going to do that is because it would be able to go through a lot of things. And Sludge Bomb will be able to take out a Togekiss. Even if he maxes, I think if we're in a really, really good spot. I think we're in an absolutely amazing spot here. He can go for Ally Switch. He can go for Follow Me. So he can go for Protects. If there was one Mon that would Protect here, I would say it's probably the Venusaur. But I don't think that that would, like... He'd have to, like, Max Guard or something. And... Max Guard. Yeah, there's like no way he gets out of this, right? He's super, super pinned, and we're using moves that pin even the bonds that he could have in the back. What does he have? Urshifu in the back? Like, let's see. Dragapult can totally deal with that. Dark Urshifu is a problem, right? But we are going to have so much speed at the end of this. Are we going to see a DC? Yo, he's thinking about it. You can tell he's taking the full timer. He's going to decide to go all in on the Dynamax. Let's hope that he Max Guards the correct target. That's the correct play here. Max Guard on one of these would be the correct play. It's just he has to gauge it correctly. So he's going big Togekiss, Sludge Bomb from our full special attack, modest Venusaur. We'll be able to take this out. We already saw his item. It was a Wiki Berry, so it's not like he can have a poison reduced berry. So let's see it. He does go for the Max Guard. Like I said, that is the correct play. That is the correct play. Our opponent's actually playing very well. We are going for the Airstream. He was trying to block my Max attack, right? He was trying to block my Max attack, and the reason why the Dragapult went in there is because it already had +2 speed, and Dragapult was already a Pokemon that was faster than a +1 Venusaur, right? Venusaur needed +2 with heavy special attack investment to outspeed a regular Dragapult, which ours is. So since I wanted to, like I didn't want to get Scarf Venusaur there. I guess that's the best way to explain it. I played around Scarf Venusaur by doing that targeting instead of switching it up. And I got my max move off. So Cinderace is a big problem. So like I was talking about, Cinderace would be a reason to use Weezing. You switch in Weezing. He doesn't get the stab on his moves here. But let's see. I do think that, if we double target the Togekiss, we can be in a great spot. Our last Mon's also an Alakazam that has a little bit of AoE, so if he changes himself to a Dark type, we can come in and just use Dazzling Gleam. And like I said, he probably cannot KO. I don't think he can KO my Venusaur for sure, but we're just going to go nuke into the Togekiss with 2 moves that would do really big damage to it. I guess if I use Dragon Darts, that would just double tap the Cinderace, wouldn't it? I'm fine with that. Yeah, so they would actually ignore the Togekiss Fairy typing, and they would just go double into the Cinderace. I'm sure he's Sucker Punching a Dragapult. Yeah, he has to have a Life Orb to get a KO here. So if you have a Life Orb, Chief, you totally go for it. Hey, you know what? What am I gonna do against that? What am I gonna do against that? This guy plays so well. So well. Show me that Life Orb. Yep, he needs the Life Orb. I confirmed his item now. I'm able to go for a Sludge Bomb. I think this does KO. Oh, that's bad. I thought that would KO. Very not great. And he's getting an Airstream, chat. This is terrible for me. The fact that I invested, though, is gonna let me hang on. But the thing is, he's able to come in with that Cinderace now. And he has a Speed Boost on his Cinderace, Speed Boost on his Togekiss. I should still be faster, because I have a Speed Boost as well. He's going to Sucker Punch my, I'm pretty sure he's going to Sucker Punch my Venusaur. I can't believe he ate that. That Togekiss must have, like, I could have swore it was not as bulky because he took so much damage from an Airstream on the switch in, but I guess he's, like, full health Special D. Note that he should have done more damage, too. So he's probably, like, full of Special D. I think we're at +1 speed in the Sun. Oh, we're at +2. Last turn of the Sun, though, so maybe he's going to play a little bit defensive. Let's actually think about what the best play here is, because we do still outspeed things. All of our moves will get Sucker Punched, but I think I have to think about what the right play is. I think you actually just want to nuke the Alakazam with our strongest play, which is probably a Giga Drain, because it would get me out of the range. If he wants to Sucker Punch my Alakazam, we're going to be in a great spot. Sucker Punch my Alakazam, see what happens. Let me see what happens. Show me that Sucker Punch Alakazam. Show me. Oh, he Sucker Punched the correct target? That is the correct target, but this is going to win me the game, I think. Actually, the Alakazam... Actually, Togekiss outspeeds me. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was like, wait! Togekiss was going to outspeed me. Togekiss at +1 actually does not speed. A bulky Togekiss at +1 actually does not outspeed a full Timid Alakazam, which we are running. He actually thinks he's in a great spot here. He thinks he's in an absolutely amazing spot, and I think... I still go for Dazzling Gleam, because, like, worst case scenario, he switches it up and goes for Pyro Ball. He will outspeed me, but he's going to take chip damage, and he doesn't have anything to actually resist or neutralize a Fairy attack. So we're going to go for the D-Gleam here. He thinks he's great. He's going to go for the Sucker Punch, and he's going to fight our Focus Sash. He's going to fight our Focus Sash, and we're going to win the game. I mean, unless he has some sort of Iron Head flinch. You do not. Yo, Sash is up, the best item on Alakazam. You could have actually made a case for saying, well, if you were Life Orbed, you would have just KO'd the Cinderace last turn. But if you would have just Sucker Punched Alakazam last turn instead, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So we are going to take the win. Sash is up, Alakazam busted, play into our outs. What a really good game. That guy played very, very well. He did every single thing that I said he was going to do. He switched correctly to mitigate the effectiveness of my all-in Dynamax, and then he replied with his own Dynamax at the perfect time to put pressure on me once mine expired. You know, people always think you have to Dynamax first and hit hard and hit fast. You don't always have to do that. If you can weather your opponent's Dynamax and then reply with your own, you know, you can come back. He almost came back. But I want to say, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you think videos like this are more educational, or if you want to see more videos that are just, you know, more me and you guys. I get to talk more about the theory behind team building, the theory behind doing stuff to influence your opponents. I feel these videos are a lot more educational and better for players trying to get into competitive play. Answer that question, answer the question of the day in the description or the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.